want to give everyone a chance to hop on. Let me know that you can see me and hear me in the chat. And before we even get started, I want to do like a little drop-in practice so that you can receive this training fully. But before I do that, I just wanted to make a very important and exciting announcement. I am officially today back on Instagram. You guys know I stopped being on Instagram a couple of years ago, and it didn't really resonate with me. And so I woke up today and it just felt right. Like I was so ready. And I'm going to be doing some really exciting things this year. And I wanted to just kind of like use that space to document my own inner work and journey and travels and all fun kind of stuff. So anyways, that is linked in the description box. I did start a fresh new account instead of like reactivating the old one. I just needed like some fresh energy. So that is linked in the description box. It's called the Universe Grew Journey, or no, I'm sorry, the Universe Grew Lifestyle is what the channel or the Instagram is called. So today we're talking about feminine pleasure. Okay, your pleasure is like oxygen for his soul. And in fact, I'm here to argue that your pleasure is like the oxygen for the planet. Like everything needs it. Plants need it, animals need it, uh, the earth needs it, your friends and family, your clients, like whatever roles that you play in life or wherever you're expressing yourself, your feminine pleasure is needed. This is a limited time training. It will be living inside of, I haven't decided which course. I probably will put it in the Femme Fortune container course, but I haven't decided yet. So it will be residing in one of those courses, and I'll put the link to the course where it will be living underneath after it's no longer available and only in the short blip. So why is feminine pleasure the oxygen that the world needs, that he needs, that you need? It's the one thing that I think the world is deeply craving right now. The world is deeply needing this. It's really, really lacking. And so let's talk a little bit about this. If you imagine two women, we'll do a drop in a second, but just imagine two women, okay? And maybe they're identical in their looks, okay? They're both identical in how they look, and one is just really, really depleted in this moment. She's just really empty. She's haven't slept well. She's hasn't been nourishing her body. Her relationships are not fulfilling her. She's not really expressing her soul work. Like she's just really depleted. And like think of like a withered plant, right? Like something that's just like dying, right? It's just her essence. And then think of another woman, the other woman, and she is getting her sleep, and she doesn't have any trauma in her body. She's like eating well. She's really well hydrated. Her relationships are really fulfilling. She's fully seen and heard in her life, and she's really expressing her soul's work on this planet. Like look at those two women right in front of you, and like what do you see, right? What do you see? Like I'm seeing one that's just like almost looks black and white. She's like dim, and she's just like not radiant, right? Like she just looks like the world is weighing down on her, like she's burdened by life. And this woman just looks like really radiant and vibrant and alive and nourished, and like she's just like glowing from within, and she's like fully seen and expressed on this planet. So that is the difference between you, the version of you that's depleted, and the version of you that's like fully alive, right? Fully expressed on this planet. And so let's do a drop in, and I want to kind of do a little bit of a teaching with you, a training with you on why this is essential to your femininity, your health, your relationships, your life, like your soul. Like this is soul level work. Okay, so I just want you to take a couple deep breaths. And with each breath, I want you to fall deeper and deeper into your womb space. So as you inhale, you're going to go all the way up to the top of your head, the crown. And as you exhale, you're going to fall into your womb, and you're going to fall deeper into your womb. So go, inhale up. Exhale all the way down to your womb space. Again, inhale. Exhale down to your womb space again. And I want you to do 2 more counts all the way up to your crown and then all the way down to your womb and falling deeper and deeper with each breath. Now I want you to imagine there's roots coming from beneath your feet and they're taking root into the earth no matter what floor you're on. Even if you're on like the 100th floor, they're going all the way through all the floors, all the way through the foundation of whatever building you're in, and all the way to the center of the earth's core. And as you take root into that, you're being nourished and filled up by the Earth's electromagnetic field, by the Earth's nutrients, by everything that Mama Earth has. You're just being filled up with that. So take some deep breaths and allow yourself to fill up with all that the Earth has to offer you. And as you're plugged into the earth, allow your worries and your fears and your questions and whatever else you have as an open portal or an open window, allow it to kind of fall away. Allow those windows to close, allow those questions to be answered, or to simply fly away and let yourself just be present with this really deep nourishment that you're receiving from the earth right now. It's all being taken care of for you. It's all being resolved. It's all done. And so all of your worries can be released. Okay, and whenever you're ready, open your eyes and let me know in the chat how that felt. Let me check in with you guys. And then we'll start our training for today. Awesome. Okay, great. Let me know how that felt. And so let's talk about why this embodiment of pleasure is so important. So when you are not filled up with pleasure, let's say that you show up on a date or in a moment of connecting with your partner, if you're already married, or even with your child, right? When you are closed off and you're depleted, there is this energy of like, it's almost like this energy of anti-pleasure, like move away from me, I'm closed off, I'm not ready, I'm not available. And especially in a romantic setting, think of it this way: when the invitation is not there, your pleasure is like an invitation. When you're on a date and you're closed off, to a healthy masculine man, it would be very rapey energy to be trying to like forcefully open you, right? When your embodiment, when your nervous system, when your body is full of trauma, when your body is full of resentment, when your body is depleted, when you haven't rested, when you haven't eaten foods that really nourish you, you're closed off. Your nervous system is kind of sending off this like repelling energy, this like closed off energy. And when you show up in the presence of a healthy man, you know, he's not going to want to forcefully engage with an or open something that is not ready to be open, that would go against his integrity, that would go against what he stands for as a man. Because healthy masculine energy masculine energy men want to protect and innocence. They want to protect women and children, right? They do not want to forcefully open anything. And so when you're in this depleted energy, at best, hopefully you're repelling everyone. But in the worst case scenario, you may become a magnet for people that are not healthy, people that actually seek out women in this state that they can manipulate or take advantage of, right? Because when you are not you're full with pleasure, when you're not in a state of resonance and healthy vibrations and like really good frequency, you're in fight or flight, right? And when you're in fight or flight, you think differently. The messages that go to your heart and your brain and your cells, like all of those embodiments and messages are very different than in a healthy woman that's full of pleasure. So imagine for a second, I know like for some of us, this may be hard to imagine, but like if you are a man, if you're a healthy masculine energy man, and even if you love your woman, but she shows up depleted, angry, resentful, like, is that something you can romance easily? Like, you can try to open her up, but like, is the invitation there? Now, even in another setting, in a non romantic setting, think of a friend. I have been in those situations where I was really looking forward to going out with my friend, and like we've been planning like a girls' date or something. And like I show up and she is like not in a good mood. Like she's totally depleted, she's angry, she's resentful. And like, what kind of a lunch or dinner date is that gonna be? Right? Have you ever showed up on at a store at a cash register, and the woman at the cash register is angry, and you can just like totally feel it oozing out of her pores, right? What kind of a transaction is that going to be? Same thing with if you are a coach or a mentor or any sort of like sales or anything, basically this applies to everything. Think of your mother. Okay, if you were to go up to her and she is angry and resentful and bitter and depleted, versus if she was happy and full of pleasure, what would that interaction be like? So really, I cannot stress this enough, that this is one of the most important trainings that you can ever have when it comes to your health, when it comes to how you age, when it comes to how you do your relationships, how you show up in the world, how you express your soul, how you do your work, right? Like it literally, in a work environment, it does your marketing for you. I have so many of my own clients say to me that are experts in marketing and other areas, like, Mina, you break all the rules, you do everything wrong, and yet you're successful. And the reason for that is that every single thing in life resonates with pleasure. Every single thing. In fact, avoiding pain and seeking pleasure are two of the three biggest things in like our evolutionary history. Like, we're wired for it. We're so wired for it. We are attracted to beings that are full of and overflowing with pleasure. Okay, so this applies to pretty much every area of your life. Okay, let me know in the chat if this is if this is really deeply resonating with you and falling in. Like, I want you to understand this literally on a soul level, because sometimes you hear these kind of things and you're like, yeah, pleasure, I get it. No, I'm telling you, this is important. And pleasure isn't actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll go from my list. Let me see what you guys are saying. Work, email, anxiety gone. Girl, yes, that's from the meditation, the drop-in. Worry-free, Kristen say, calming, relaxing, free. Awesome. Yes, once I realized that my energy depleted, fight or flight, survival mode, manifested all of the difficulties in my life, it was game-changing. Bingo, bingo, right? Like, it's the number one thing. It's the only thing in like dropping the struggle like in life, because I've said this to you guys before, that the masculine experience of life is one of burden, right? And that is not the feminine experience. The feminine experience of life is one of pleasure. And so we must, on a cellular level, be filled up with pleasure, okay? So what does it really mean to be filled up with pleasure? It's not always what you think. So some people think, okay, well, like, I'll just do self-care. Like, I'll just go get my nails done, and like, I'll just put on makeup, and like, I'll just like go on vacation. And yes, all of those things are amazing ways to fill you up with self-care, or I'm sorry, with pleasure. But the truth is, two people on vacation, one could be completely depleted and one could be completely filled up. I have seen people on vacation that were did not look like they're enjoying their vacation. Okay, they were fighting, arguing, yelling at their kids. Like it almost seemed like they were getting more depleted on vacation than being filled up. So really, pleasure is something that you almost drink up. Like you embody it and you soak it in from something. Like I really used to be amazed by this. I've shared this with you guys before, that I had this really weird contrasting life. Like I spent a lot of time back in my parents' country, back in Pakistan, and like going back and forth. And so it really boggled my mind that when I started like noticing that some of the people that I would see as like the poorest people on the planet, like literally they had nothing, would often seem less resentful, like their hearts weren't collapsed, like they seemed happier to me sometimes than some of my like really wealthy relatives. And so it started really occurring to me that it didn't really always have to do with what we thought it had to do with, right? So for example, there could be someone that was born into wealth, but maybe they're miserable because their parents control them, and like they can't have the career that they want to have, and they can't marry who they want to marry, they can't travel where they want to go, like they can't live their life. That person is not going to be full of pleasure, right? Versus someone who was born in a little village and maybe they don't have all the right things or the right gadgets or the right money or whatever, but like they are free individuals and they just feel like they're really grateful for what they do have. And every moment that they live, they're able to fill up with pleasure from amazing conversations and people that love them and nature, right? So it's really something that you can drink up, that you can soak in, that you can like marinate and like seep from your environment and really from the quantum field, right? And so the first thing I want you to become aware of is this isn't where the richest person wins. This isn't where the most beautiful woman wins. No. This isn't where your socioeconomic status or your looks or any of that stuff is going to help you. It really just deeply comes down to embodiment. It really comes down to how much are you able to train your nervous system to be able to soak up this yumminess of pleasure. Okay, so it's really an equal opportunity embodiment. I was gonna say employer, but that doesn't work. Okay, so number one, what do I want you to do? I want you to first become aware. So we did a little drop in as we started this training, and I want you to do another kind of like scan your body right now and notice how much pleasure is running through your body. Okay, is there tightness that you're noticing in your body? Are there places where you feel just very constricted in your body? Is there any pain in your body? Is there anything that you need to address? Is there tingling, fire, burning, swirling? Like what's happening? Like how yummy and delicious do you feel versus how tight or constricted or unseen or numb? What is your current embodiment? Like just become aware of that first and foremost. Okay? So awareness is just number one. And we all have like daily like embodiments of pleasure versus not pleasure. And also we have this depth of how much we're willing to go, and this will make sense to you if you are in the Femme Fortune container course. We talked about there's a scale, and whatever your scale is, you need to allow yourself to go a little bit deeper into that scale. So number two, what I want you to do is create space. And how do you create space for more pleasure in your body, in your embodiment, in your life? The first thing I'm going to say is that you're going to have to release and let go of things. You're going to have to do inner work. And this is where the most inner worked person wins, because it's equal opportunity, because we all have that opportunity to do inner work, to go deeper. And I think a lot of people shy away from going deep into inner work because it can feel a little uncomfortable in the beginning, because things must come up and they must be released. But I urge you to do your inner work and really go deep, because It's just like when you go to the dentist and they numb your mouth, you know, you can't feel the pain, but you also can't taste your favorite dessert, right? Like it numbs out the whole experience. So if you can't really feel pleasure in your body, what else are you missing out on? Like how much joy can you run through your body? How much love are you able to run through your body and give to your children? How much romance are you really able to experience? Like it's all interconnected. And so increasing your container embodiment for anything requires you to release what's already there. If you're holding on to a lot of past stuff, remember we cannot go into the quantum field holding on to our past. We cannot go to the quantum field to get more energy, to get more yumminess, to get more pleasure, hanging on to what has been and what wasn't and what didn't exactly pan out for you, right? Like we have to let that stuff go, and that will be your inner work. I'm sharing a lot of this deeply in the energetics of age training, which is happening inside of the hypnotic sex course on March 16th. Tomorrow, the cart is closing for hypnotic sex. So if you haven't signed up, if you really want this deep embodiment work on how to start opening your body up to all the pleasure that's available to you, you know, most of us are just swimming on the surface, and there's oceans and oceans of pleasure available. In fact, I'm here to say that there is an ocean beneath the ocean. Like we haven't even accessed our full human capacity, right? Like science already says we're only using about 10% of our brain. Like what else aren't we using? And our nervous system is not even like skimming at the surface of what's really available. I know that every year as I go deeply into my own embodiment work and my own practice and my own journey, like at the level that I'm able to experience love, joy, pleasure, sex, orgasm, romance, money, friendships, is it's a whole different level, right? And just that joy of being alive. And so we're going to be doing that work in the energetics of age. In fact, my entire hypnotic sex course is about this topic, exactly, like opening up your body and retraining the nervous system. Okay, so the third thing I want you to do is expand your container to hold more pleasure. And this is really deep. This isn't like, oh, hi, thank you. Oh, thank you for the drink. It's like, can you swim in the pleasure of every sip that you take of that drink, right? It's like, are you deeply marinated in that pleasure? How deeply does it go for you? Is it on a cellular level? Like, does your nervous system go to a full 10 when something is presented to you or gifted to you or you're able to receive on that level? Really, that's where it comes down to your embodiment. Because you know, we've all been that basic babe in like self-aware Barbie mode where we have a lot of information, but a lot of us are afraid to go in. I know this because I used to be that person. I remember that if I ever caught a training or anything, like I would skip the meditation and I would skip the journaling prompts, right? I would just listen to the thing. But really, wasn't until I allowed myself to go into the depth of doing the meditation, doing the journaling prompts, like really engaging with it, experiencing with it, when things started shifting really, really quickly for me. So let me see what you guys are saying. Letting go of excuses. Yes, switching from survival mode to pleasure embodiment is the biggest shift. Yes, right? We go from living at the complaint counter or the waiting room to living at the desire counter. And the desire is all about the feminine pleasure. This is why I love that you focus on fixing our diets and overall health in addition to inner work. You can't experience pleasure when you're malnourished or addicted to caffeine or grains. Yeah, and here's why. I think a lot of people don't realize is that there are two very clear parts to us. There's the animal part and then there's the consciousness part. Well, the animal part is the part of us that's attached to this planet, that's like grounded here. So that one takes priority, right? For example, if I'm being chased by a lion, you know, it's not going to serve me to be sitting and like dropping into a meditation, right? I'm going to like be eaten by the lion. So like if, for example, if, you know, you're being chased by a lion again, your body is not going to be like, well, let's just go ahead and continue healing your body of autoimmune stuff or cancer. No, like all hands on deck, you're literally like gonna die, right? So when our body is not well, it instantly puts you in fight or flight because that becomes the pressing thing. That becomes like the squeaky wheel. That becomes the thing that needs all hands on deck first. So, absolutely. And I used to struggle with this actually. Every time I would teach a course years ago and I wanted to do it in a certain order, I would always come to this point where I would be like, put the nutrition one first or the mindset work first. And the truth is, you almost have to put them in the same module. And the reason for that is that your mindset is very much impacted by the foods that you eat. It is true. It's like we have the science for it now, right? My gut microbiome, gut is always talking to the brain. So it's all related. We are not these individual compartments. We are one whole being and it's all connected. After doing inner work, I realized that I was avoiding my pain by working harder and doing more. I still have more to do, but letting go feels so good. Yes, we all have more to do, babe. Like, we are here to do divine work. We're here to grow. We're here to ascend. So it will always feel like it's never enough or there's more. In fact, this is one of those deep core feminine practices that a lot of people don't understand, I believe, because I think feminine energy, although I think it's wonderful that it's being taught so readily now and so available, I think that most people are still like at the surface of it and they don't understand the depth of the feminine, the divine feminine, right? And so one of the things is that the divine feminine can intuit all the love that is available in all the cosmos, on all the planes, in all the paradigms, in all the worlds, in all time, in all directions of time and space at the same time. And because we can intuit how much love there is, the love that is here right now in front of us will never quite feel enough. Even when it's a lot, even if our nervous system can't quite hold this level of love, there will always feel like there's more and that this is not enough. And the reason for that is because it's not enough. There's so much more. We haven't even begun to tap into God's infinite power and all the love that's available. So of course it will never seem like enough. So that's why there's a saying that's coming up to me from my parents' language. I'm trying to translate it into English. Nothing is quite coming, but the feminine soul will never be full. It's a bottomless pit of desire and pleasure. Okay. And so you can have the perfect day and the perfect partner and the perfect outfit and the perfect meal and the perfect sex and the perfect romance and the perfect everything. And you can go to bed wanting more. That is very much a divine feminine thing. Okay, there will always be more. The more love we receive, the more our heart says, love me more. The more we're seen, the more our soul says, express yourself even more, right? The more we teach or learn or embody, the more that internal nudge says, but there's more, right? And that's okay. That's part of the journey. And it is also a part of the feminine soul to enjoy the journey, realizing that we will not ever quite be full because we are so deep. Like it's the black hole is really the word that comes to mind. It cannot be full. It will just take it in, and there's always going to be this desire for more. Okay, that's why I think the masculine sometimes misunderstands us, and the masculine can take it personally, like, oh my god, you're saying what I did isn't enough. No, it was enough, and there's more. But there's more. Like, we can feel it, we can intuit that there's always more. And so we must keep growing, and we must realize that we can't turn this against ourselves. We can't feel like I'm not enough. No, I am enough, and there's more pleasure. I am enough, and there's more love. I am enough, and there's more growth for me. There's more embodiment for me. I'm literally eating arugula salad with chia seeds. Thank you, Mina. Awesome, babe. That sounds delicious. Wow, understanding that makes me feel better. Wanting more can be seen as being unappreciative. That's how the masculine can experience us, especially a masculine, the unconscious masculine, even healthy masculine that may just doesn't know, like they don't know. Like, this is something that I had to explain to the men in my life because whether it's just a conversation with my sons or my husband, Or even husbands of my clients, when we're doing group sessions, explaining to them that no, her saying I want more is the deep feminine like root. It has nothing to do with that you're not giving enough. You could do everything perfectly and she will want more because she's attached to the same as Mother Earth, right? Is there ever enough sunlight? Like, no, we want more the next day. Are there enough shoes? Like, no, I want them in every color, right? Like, I want everything. Even when my husband and I do like these deeply enriching embodiment practices, some of which I teach in hypnotic sex to you guys, eye gazing and heart to heart and chakra syncing and making love, spiritually. Even then, where everything is perfect, this is all the stuff that people wish for. This is the stuff that people are like, oh my God, I wish I had this, right? Even when you do all of that stuff, there can be moments where you're going to bed saying, and I want more. Okay? Think of a child, okay? Like, all three of my kids were like this, especially when the boys were younger, but Alina is still like this. You can take her to 10 stores. And my mom used to say this about myself too. My mom used to say, Mina wants something from every aisle of every store. That's the divine feminine. Yes, I do. I want to go to we do this thing where when we go try out new restaurants, we will order the entire menu. Guess who started it? That was always my thing. Like, I want to order the entire menu. I want to taste it all, right? Where does that come from? I didn't invent that. It's the divine feminine moving through us. That's why we want the dress in every color. That's why we hoard makeup. That's why we're gatherers, right? On top of the whole divine feminine consciousness, we're freaking gatherers, right? You never know when you'll need that and that and that stick and that thing, right? Like, I want it all, right? So organizing and decluttering, all of that stuff actually comes from the masculine, right? And I can have a very big minimalist streak and all that too, but I'm married to a Virgo, so like we're pretty organized. But that is again the masculine embodiment. The feminine, if allowed, like, yeah, if allowed, if like left to my own devices, like I would just go buy the entire world, right? It's just we want more. We want to go deeper. We want the whole thing. We want to experience all of it. And all of that, again, coming back to pleasure, is how deeply can you go with the thing in front of you? So some people will have all the things, right? They'll go literally buy the entire world, but feel like they can't quite feel it. Their heart is collapsed. They can't experience joy. And then there might be someone else that has literally one thing, but like they have tears of joy in their eyes when they look at that one thing. Why is that? Because their embodiment is very deep on how much pleasure they can seep out of something, how much they can take out of the field or take out of that thing is deep, right? So it really depends on your embodiment. I ordered 3 different flavored margaritas last week. The divine feminine, you couldn't decide. I'll take it all. Yes, one of my goals is to travel the world and eat. Ordering the entire menu is a beautiful idea. Yes, my kids absolutely love it. Irfan enjoys it too because then we get to taste everything, right? And actually, even when I didn't have a lot of money back in my like 20s, like, I still had a lot than most, but like I'm grateful. But like even when I didn't, I always found myself being very generous, like wanting to like people would say, like friends would say, like, it's always a good time with Mina. Like, you go out with me, even if you don't have money, you can't order, like, we're ordering everything. We're having a good time. And that is like that divine feminine, that pleasure of like enjoyment and letting it really activate you. So when you wake up, like your practices that you do, when you eat a meal, when you have a conversation, there will always be people that make everything look hard. Everything is drudgery. Everything is hard work. I know some of these people in my life. And then there is the person that can make the hardest thing look like nothing because their embodiment of pleasure and how much they're rooted in themselves is so deep and strong that they literally infuse everything with their own pleasure. So that is the realm of the divine feminine, right? So if you want to go deep into this work, I really invite you into the hypnotic sex course. That whole course is about releasing shame and getting rid of like society's holes and expectations, and releasing all the gunk, and then going deep into your embodiment, like opening up your body, letting the divine masculine consciousness really give to you. And once you start receiving on that quantum level that deeply, things shift so fast. So on March 16th, I'm doing a training in there called Energetics of Age. So that will be the newest addition to the hypnotic sex course. We've had so far over 400 people sign up. So one thing I will say is that I will not be answering questions in that training. This is going to be a little bit different. I want to use all the time for the embodiment practices and that deep level work, but I will be teaching you how you can answer your own questions, how you can tap into your own higher self and your own intuition, so you never need anyone else to answer your questions. You can tap into that deep infinite power. Okay. Thank you for the super chat, Wednesday. Star Bright said, I'm crying because this literally explains so much for me. You just gave me the key to unlock a block that had frustrated me. Beautiful. I'm so happy to hear that. Yes, I just love when like you're really calling out for something and like those right words just show up and it all just unlocks. Beautiful. Hi, Kabibi. Welcome in, babe. Someone said, LOL, I always want more. My wanting is insatiable. I thought I was being greedy. Nope, that shows me, Nicole, that you're tapped into that divine feminine soul. What you just said, let me repeat this. She said, my wanting is insatiable. That's the divine feminine. Okay, that doesn't mean that you can't have feelings of contentment or feelings of gratitude. I have feelings of contentment and feelings of deep gratitude, and I want more all the time. Okay, it's the divine feminine. Men don't understand this. They don't understand it because they are evolved to be and raised to be both nature and nurture, to be more stoic, more like put your feelings aside, right? Like, you know, look out for the community and your family first. So they're a little bit different. It is the feminine desire and pleasure that build worlds. You know, like men would have been happy in a cave with a remote control. Like, let's just be honest, right? There was a cave woman out there somewhere that said, thanks for the cave, but where's the door? And I'd like some curtains, okay? And I want something here, and I want a couch here, and a building for Johnny to go to school would be nice, right? And a garden would be like, our pleasure and our insatiable appetite for life is literally why we have civilization. You're welcome, society, right? Like, we built all this, like we called it in. And so don't be ashamed of that. You can be fully content in your life and want more. I run both of those feelings in my body sometimes at the same freaking time. Like, I will be like fully filled up, overflowing, content, happy, joyful, in extreme gratitude, and be like, let's go for sushi and shopping, like in that same moment, right? Right? And that's okay. That is just the divine feminine embodiment. Don't ever feel bad for that. Oh, thank you, Fernanda. Thank you for the compliment. And for those of you guys just coming in, quick reminder, two things. One, I just started my Instagram again. I'm going to be sharing fun stories in there. I'm just learning. I forgot how to do stories. I'm just like relearning everything. That link is in the description box. Also, the hypnotic sex course card closes tomorrow, March 15th at midnight. And the new class, Energetics of Age, is happening on March 16th. Okay, we've had over 400 people sign up. I would love to have you. I had to like upgrade my Zoom account just to hold this training. Like, that's how powerful this is going to be. And we have space for about 200 people more before I have to upgrade again. So I'll upgrade if I need to. So you are more than welcome. There's always space for more. Thank you for reminding us that we can feel all those feelings simultaneously. I can't say that word, but yes, you get the vibe. Absolutely, absolutely. The divine feminine is all the things, all the time. That's why we can be like nature. Like, there is a tsunami, and then there's a tornado, and then there's calm waters, and then there's the sun is out. Like, all of it can be happening in the same day, right? It can all be in the same day. Oh, hi, Lola. Welcome to Level Up Queens. Okay, I have to work on the contentment part. Thank you. Yes, yes. Run both at the same time. That will be that container work. Oh my God, this makes me feel better. We can have both contentment and desires. Thank you, Mina. Absolutely. Have I not said this before? I feel like for some of you guys, maybe I haven't said this in like on YouTube before, but yes, I'm so glad I did say it now because I think many of us needed to hear this. Absolutely. I have literally everything in my life. I feel absolutely blessed. I got the marriage that I wanted. I got the kids. I got the house. I'm literally in my dream body. I'm swimming in my clothes. Like I just ordered a brand new wardrobe. I have a closet full of designer clothes and shoes and I have more money than I can ever spend, right? I have all those things. I have beauty, I have friends, I have you, my work, right? And at the same time, I'm like, let's go over there. Let's do this. Like, let's buy this. I want to go to Hawaii. I want to go here. I want to do this. That's the divine feminine. In fact, the more you have, the more your soul is going to want to express itself because part of the divine feminine is also being seen, right? And it becomes almost sacred service. I used to use this as a manifestation technique, and now it's become my embodiment. So I used to say, God, I want more. Thank you so much for this, and this. And I want more, and I get to have more because the more I have, the more women will see and they will allow themselves to have more. So that's why I get to have more. And not that you need a reason, even if it's just for you, you get to have it. But because of my past and where I come from, it helped me make it okay to want more without feeling like I'm being greedy or I'm being selfish or whatever, right? And so I did it enough where enough women saw and said, well, if Mina has it, I get to have it too. Can I have it too? Like, yeah, you get to have it too. Oh, I get to have it too. So many women started doing this that I'm like, God, my God, oh, every woman is like a candle, right? Like if she lights 1,000 candles and they light 1,000 candles, I'm not good at math. It's going to be a lot of lighted candles. So we all get to live our best lives, whatever that means to us. It's not going to look the same for everyone, but we all get to live our best lives so that we can be an example and a shining light and really be witnessed in this so that other people can do it too. So yes, every time I want more, I'm like, yes, I get to have more. So more women will see me and then they get to have more too. So absolutely you get to have it, even if no one's watching. That was just kind of my reason. Don't think you have to be like showing someone. No, just because you exist, just because God gave you the desire, you get to express yourself and have it. Many wants and things like the many hands of the goddess. Absolutely, absolutely. Like think about it, if a woman didn't have a desire, why would a man get up and go to work? Like their experience, the masculine's experience of life is one of burden. A feminine desire and pleasure is what makes it worth it. Why would he even get up and go to work, right? Oh, okay, that's it? No. The funny thing is I was telling my clients one of this. I was having a client call the other day and I was telling her, I was like, you would, okay, in the last 2 or 3 weeks, as much as I have been kind of coming into that next level for myself, pushing back on old paradigms and containers, you would think that my children and husband right now would be like, oh my God, like what the hell is going on with Mina? They are the happiest they've ever been, even though I have gone through this whole 3 weeks as like a total J-Lo diva moment of like, this is not working, don't want this, want more of this doesn't seem good enough for me anymore. Like there was moments where I caught myself and I was like, Mina, you are literally acting like a diva. Like what is going on with you? But I'm like, but my soul must do this. Like I must express myself in this way. And the more I did it, and the more the universe realigned and my husband up leveled and my kids up leveled and the whole thing redid itself, the happier everyone became, because that's what we're all here to do. I just have the guts to go first. I just have the guts to be like, no, I don't want this. I want more of this. I want this in every color. It's the same with sex. Men orgasm once and it's complete. Women are multi-orgasmic. It's never enough. We are infinite. Bingo. Absolutely. In fact, this is something that I have in the hypnotic sex course, the whole like full body expression of orgasm. I know that that is something that once I started embodying more of my pleasure, I activated full body orgasms for myself, and that changed the way that my husband even got to experience sex. I emailed this out this morning. I don't, if you guys are not on my email list, you definitely need to be. I email a lot of these like deeply potent transmissions on there. So my email, you can sign up by signing up for the container workbook. And on Instagram, you can also check that out. So in my email that I sent out this morning, I talked about how a woman's orgasm is 9 times more powerful than a man's. 9 times, right? Like we are made for pleasure. In fact, we have systems in our body that are simply only built for pleasure. They don't have any other function. Okay? We are built for pleasure. Women are pleasure. We're built for pleasure. Diva energy, yes. I have been following your advice from your free content, and I've seen so many changes in my life within the month of finding your channel. Can't wait to purchase your basic babe bundle. Awesome, Fernanda. Awesome, awesome. I do want to quickly mention that we still have spots for the April 6th intensive Goddess of Riches. In fact, I just shared a little snippet on my stories and Instagram for the workbook that I'm working on for that. And I will be announcing the dates for the longer Hawaii intensive that's happening in June, probably the first week of April, hopefully sooner, but I must lock down the location first, the resort where we're going to be doing that. So that's coming soon. But if you still want to join us on April 6th, email my team. We still have spots for that as well. All right, ladies, thank you so much for joining me for this beautiful pleasure training. All the links I mentioned, my Instagram, container workbook, and email list, hypnotic sex course, all of that is linked in the description box, as well as my email if you guys want to email about the intensive happening on April 6th in Honolulu, where I will be live, and we'll see you live over there. All right, babes. Bye.